Roxanne. Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining this special interview with me. It's such an honor to have you today.
Well, thank you, and hi to you.
Hi.
Very glad to be here.
Yes, yes. And I remember the first time I saw you was on Gaia TV in the interview with the extra dimensions.
Extra dimensionals, yeah. With Ruben Langdon, what a wonderful person. Yeah.
Yes, and I was amazed. I mean, all the episodes were great, but I was really drawn to your energy, to your vibration at that point, and also the messages that came through were very resonating with me. And later on, I booked a meeting with you, a channeling with you, which
hmm
I really loved it. I had great insights in that one-on-one
Kind
session.
of shocking. Most humans get shocked at what they hear. The
Yes,
human idea is when they have a session, they want answers because they usually view to get together with a medium or a channel or something like that, that they get together them for guidance or problems.
right,
And the problems need to have a solution. The guide needs to have an end game, but there is no end game. There's only the game, the constant game of realization, of experience, of knowing yourself. And when you have an experience like that, and then what you paid for, and it comes out wrong, and it's like a little ruffling. It's like a little upsetting. But
right.
that's an indicator.
Yeah,
When you're pissed off or you're upset or you're having an issue about reality, and if you want to put it in an idea of measurement, then you're showing yourself the key, your own belief systems, your own filters that looks at reality in such a way that would give you an emotional content that's not preferred, and it's sometimes even preferred, like hope. Hope.
yeah,
A lot of people rely on hope, but hope implies doubt.
yeah.
It's a tragedy. It's faith to give to someone else. But anyways, I'm glad we had a session. It was fantastic because when I get to do that and I get to offer um, something of uh, a different tact on life, a
Right.
different direction,
Right. I think
and
whenever we go to these sessions, the first thing that we want to know is that we are on the right track, that it is happening.
always right. Yeah. What's my purpose is the right track.
Yes.
You
And
came onto this planet, you don't remember anything, and you expect to be held accountable by who if you're on the right track? So you guys are bumping off of each other your entire lives, and you don't know if you're ever on the right track, and you hope you do with the talk to the right guy, and then you die.
yeah,
A
yes,
whole life of trying and never being.
exactly. And that's one thing that, we get stuck up with these situations and that we create in our life. And then we just want to know, are we on the right track? Are we on the right
Yeah.
purpose? And is it happening? Whatever that I'm intending, will it ever
Yep.
happen?
I came here for a reason. Am I fulfilling my purpose and stuff like that? But if you look at that, if you look at it in an idea of that context, that relationship to that truth, as opposed to the truth of creation, and it's not the truth. The truth of creation is you get to have your truth. That's the biggest key. Is whatever you choose as a truth is going to be a reality, and it doesn't matter what you choose. But what the insight is here is to be aware of your truth, and that's the key. And when you start to see that purpose doesn't uh, uh, doesn't fulfill you,
Right.
how long do people chase the dreams and never find happiness, because happiness is always elusive. Happiness is, then I'll be happy. And after that, then I'll be happy. And if I don't do that and get this, then I'll be happy. But right now I got to get serious and go to work. So that idea to come here is a construct, a recognized construct of the human separation. And that's the game. And that's absolutely exquisite. That's why people want to know if they're on the right track, because we were taught wrong tracks. We were taught consequence. We were taught negative. We were taught these things. Creation is unconditional. Creation doesn't stand a post somewhere around the realities and say negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, because there's no one in charge. The mind, right here, the eye of the beholder interprets as reality, so it sees things as negative, as wrong, as consequential, as effective, and the right track, and it feels better because my emotions feel better, my ego feels better, and I'm accomplished, and everyone loves me for me, so I must be on the right track. But if you lose those ideas and you don't have the comfort and convenience of reality telling you you're awesome, then you look at yourself as where's the right track. So you reach out for guidance and help, and you seek this right track that's elusive in and of itself, the same as happiness. The track is that you're a creator having an experience forever. Start to look at life that way. And yeah, and it's very frustrating for the human dynamic to see that, but that's the key. That's the game. That's what you want to do. That's why we came here. We came here to, oh my God, I don't know I'm a God. I don't know I'm a creator. I've never felt this before. What is it? I'm empty. I have no worth. I have to rely on my moms and my dads and my teachers and my societies and my religions and my culture to find value in myself. So I get educated and I show everyone I have a degree and I show everyone that I can buy big monstrous houses and lots of Mercedes Benz, but I'm not happy because I don't know who I am in my worthiness. I have to continue to try to be that. Or I'm over here and I'm a failure. So I'm going to live my victimization and my diseases and all of my uh, labels that I can put on myself so I can get my attention and my worthiness through outside sources, the objective reality of creation to find my worthiness. And then you just, you're like, damn. And then maybe one day someone sheds their light, maybe this moment right here, and says, oh yeah, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, I am. Oh yeah, okay, I am. Oh, what do you mean, what do you mean? I am. Thou shalt have no gods before me. Me? Me? Yeah. So you start to look at creation through subjectives, and then you start to see the game in and of itself as an objectified field. And the worthiness of your own existence supersedes all polarized value. Because out of your own creation, your unconditional reality, comes polarization. So for your experience. So how about these words? We get to suffer. We get to hate. We get to fear. We get to loathe. We get to like. We get to love. We get to hope. We get to be successful. We get to do these things. But they're not the construct of permanency that the asleep think it is. And the struggle is to deconstruct those belief systems. And it's really not a struggle, it's an adventure. It's the worthiness of realizing you've been a creator the whole time, you know? And we offer that. You offer that. You have a symbol behind you, have a yin and yang, and then you have Om symbol over there. And I have a pentacle here, and I have my triangle here. These are expressions. They're not images. They're
Right.
ways to understand creation. I came to a playground named Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory, and there's no adults. It's just me and the Oompa Loompas playing, and I'm going to get a diabetic coma overdose on chocolate. I'm going to live, and I'm here finding out what life is as a remembered awakening being instead of one with purpose and meaning and right tracks and wrong tracks and positives and negatives and avoidance and images and labels and resumes. I'm here to discover the I am, the most priceless journey of any master that bestows upon them this task. And everyone that looks around you is the same. A
Right.
forgotten God remembering. Fantastic. Sometimes I kind of babble, so pardon me. Go ahead.
No, that's wonderful. This is something, this is the basic that every child must know. I mean, because now there's so much of competition, so much of comparing with each other, and that is going into creating more of the depression, more of that anxiety, which we are all facing.
Well, here, let me give you a take on this. We
Mm.
think we're a big train wreck. Humanity's been a train wreck for a very long time. We're nothing special. We're
Right.
just doing it in a different fashion. What's absolutely fabulous about it is that we're more aware about it
Mm-hmm.
because we have technology. Technology gives us access to uh, police brutality,
Mm-hmm.
tragedies around the world,
Mm-hmm.
global idea things that are happening, huh? Just whatever you can call the plastics in the ocean killing the turtles,
Right.
so we can't have plastic anymore.
Right.
See, we have access, but we've been a train wreck for 18.1.9 now billion years of collapsed timelines of human exploration. We're nothing special. You know
Mm-hmm.
what we are? This is kind of a quote. We're the end game. We're in the last 2,000 years of humanity, and then the species gonna ascend in the age of Capricorn. In the age of Aquarius, we're done. So you need to look at the beauty of humanity. We're here.
Right.
That's why everything is popping up. How do you change what you are not? By seeing it and not accepting it as your reality. Don't feed. And it's not the positive or negative. It's the polarity in and of itself that you turn away from and focus on the life of internal joy and expression. That's your truth, no matter what it is. So if it's the best ditch digger in the world, if it's
Mm-hmm.
the best stock boy, if it's the best janitor, if it's the best teacher, if it's the best long haul driver, if it's the best policeman, or it's the best firefighter, whatever is in your heart to go and pursue as a truth, to feel you as alive instead of a freaking echo of yourself, of an image. Go, oh look, I have a job, everybody. I go to work 9 to 5, and I want to slip my wrists every time at 5:01. There's people that do love their office jobs, but
Mm-hmm.
people just have to do it because they don't know what else to do, and they got pressures of society and pressures of lack to fulfill themselves with an outside external idea. Look, everyone, I'm earning money. I'm a part of a citizen. Yay! So all of that is starting to be aware, and we're going to change that by focusing on our love. And you can see a lot of the generations lately, they don't give a flying shit about anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, I don't care about that. I'm going to go and play games. And
Mm-hmm.
then I create a game industry for people to have gaming. Phenomenal. Because there's no reason to be serious about life. Life is a playground of forever. But in this playground, we gave ourselves the tools
Right.
of pain and suffering and happiness and hope and success looming over failure every day, and
Mm-hmm.
then failure to strive for success. The greatest game of all. Fantastic.
Yes, it is. So I
I
wanted to,
love it.
I'm loving it too. So the question that you mentioned, that this is my favorite topic, is talking about, we are at the end game that you mentioned, at the last 2000 years.
Yep.
And as I understand that Earth is moving into the fourth density.
Yep.
So I wanted to ask you what that means and what
Okay.
is happening.
If you listen to Einstein and Tesla, if you want to understand creation, the universe, then you got to start thinking about things in vibration, light, frequency. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know that everything is interpreted through these idea of a light frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have a light coming in, and then it interprets, and then the brain
Mm-hmm.
gives us a translation in our senses, and we have gravity,
Right.
we have sound because we live in an atmosphere of compression,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we have all the senses to give our experience, give ourselves an experience of living in a third density, which is a physical world vibrating at a certain frequency, taking light, slowing it down to gross matter, slowing it down to the finite matter of being a creator, a holodeck. Okay, so we're all these thought gods, creators, and we create physical realities. So
Mm-hmm.
this is operating at a certain frequency. The fourth density is operating at a different frequency, and it's a light being. It's a light frequency. Me and you would be in the fourth density seeing each other as this idea, but not physical. But we would still see each other as expressions. But those expressions is unknown to the humans, just like the Mayans couldn't see a Spaniard galleon sitting out in the lagoon because they'd never seen it before until they equated themselves to that frequency of acceptance. That's when the vision can happen. And as humans start to ascend themselves and become more awake, we'll understand what it is to experience the fourth density as time moves over the next 2,000 years. And then Gaia, who's hosted 5 species,
Mm-hmm.
there's been 5 times death has or life has collapsed and been rebirthed on this planet. The academia doesn't want to tell you that. The historical academia doesn't want to tell you that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's out there and people are finding it because you have archaeologists and you have internets and you have information, and you can't hide anymore. They can't hide the idea of the truth because they would be wrong. And oh, my ego says I wrote this and now it's wrong. I'm an idiot or something like that. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's the collapse of the entire idea of structure of God outside of us. Whatever.
Right.
But they're seeing that Gaia itself is a planet, and
Mhm.
it's an entity expressing herself as a physical planet. And that physical planet is going to move into the next frequency and be our host of the next idea in the fourth density.
Mhm.
And then there's going to be no more Earth. We're going to be rumored. We're going to be like a myth in someone's mind, the next idea of human species, which seems to be the potential of the Venusians. The
Mhm.
Venusian planet, the Venus, is going to move its orbit out to the Earth orbit, and then it's going to host the next idea of the next human. So whatever that is, that's not, we don't need to make it a thing. Don't make it a thing. That's just a
Mhm.
probability.
Right.
But, Guy is ready to go to the fourth density and experience herself and evolution of herself. And that's what her choice is. And we're like, okay, let's go along. So
Mhm.
we're ready to go too. We've been at this for a very long time
Mhm.
because it's the hardest game. See, we don't know we're creators, and we use each other's love, each other's light, which is our light.
Right.
Express your light, and others can light themselves up. That's why it's a lighthouse and not a flashlight. Preachers are flashlight. Hey, you need to do this. A
Mhm.
lighthouse says, hey, here's safe harbor. Come on,
Mhm.
find yourself, right?
Mhm.
No preaching, no teaching, no reaching. Just hey. So they light themselves up, and we're ready. So the next idea is we're lit up, and humans going to go to the next, and we're going to be a collective species of fourth density, part of the galactics and all that stuff. And we have a lot of fun time left here on Earth. I mean,
Mhm.
disclosure is going to happen. Aliens are going to show up. All
Mhm.
of this is happening in your lifetime. my
Mhm.
my lifetime, unless I choose to leave the planet earlier. But I mean, we're less than 20 years away from open contact. We've had first contact, we've had aliens.
Right.
And-
And do we need to be a vibrational match in
no, we don't need to do anything.
okay.
We need to be ourselves, and it's going to happen just like naturally. When the aliens come is when the planet's ready.
Okay.
That's when it happens. If we try to be that, then we're living in time with the concept of an ego, how to be that. And
Mhm.
then we start performing out of the past to how to be something of an image in the future when everything, law two, is here and now.
Mhm.
Be
Mhm.
your love, be your light, and that's what attracts light. Light that's beyond the idea conceptualization of the now of evolution. But we keep messing around with trying to fix everything, saying human is all healing. We need to fix the planet. We're all bad. Look at us. We have dark souls. Really? No, we don't. We're creators. We're unconditional badasses forever experiencing creation in and of itself. Exquisite. So we don't need to do anything. If you want to do anything for that,
Mhm.
find your light and show it. Whatever it is. You calling me up to do this interview, that's your truth. That's your light. You
Mhm.
wanted to, it's here, you're creating. You offer to the collective, that's enough. Everyone thinks they need to offer and make a point and have them accept that point and say, oh, okay, you're right. I got it now. Now I'll change my behavior for you. Well, preacher's been trying to do that and no one's changing because no one wants to be told what to do.
Yes.
We want to find out who we are. Make
Mhm.
sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I strongly believe in, that we are all creators, we are all gods, we are all here creating our own realities, and
Good.
and
So instead of strongly believe in it,
mhm.
just for you, just
Mhm.
know it.
Mhm.
Never believe it again. You don't ever need to say that again.
Right.
When you know it, it's gone.
Yes.
When you believe it, you're exploring it. When it's fully accepted, then your relationship to reality in and of itself becomes more divinity than you can imagine
Right.
because there's no doubt, there's no question about your own existence.
Mhm.
Let me give you one thing, and I love this. This is from Daryl Anker and the Bashar idea.
Okay.
Law one of creation is you exist. So let's all forget about everything about all our problems for a minute. Just stop and realize creation chose you to exist. You're having an existence, which means you're having an experience. Now, what's the opposite to that? Non-existence. In non-existence, they don't know they're non-existing because there's no reality because they don't exist.
Mhm.
Non-existence is full. We're all on the existence side of things. Outstanding. No matter what, we are alive forever because law two is everything is here and now. Time is created, right?
That's
So,
amazing. Yes.
so if we're existence, you're here to find you and understand creation through your own perception. I am is my truth. That's the only thing I own in creation is my truth. And as I interpret my reality, I understand myself. And the reflection of myself drawn to me is the experience of my expression. Why would I ever change what I am? I want to find out. And
Hmm.
that's what we're doing. So when you find things inside of you and you're now to explore, get to know them. And when they're gone, you know them. They're tucked neatly in your social memory complex. Some people like to call that a soul. And
Hmm.
that's it. And they just keep going on and find you. And that light offers other people to be their truths. We don't want followers. What do light bearers work? What does the enlightened do? They don't create followers and they don't create leaders. They create masters.
Hmm.
We create ourselves to understand we're here as a choice, to
Hmm.
understand the portion of creation that no one else wanted to go into. But
Hmm.
every human you've ever seen took the idea, took a chance on themselves and gave themselves a physical incarnation, took spirit and made it and crossed it with the physicality, came down to a hostile planet where you can die anytime in a million different ways and fear life, fear your own existence.
Yes.
It's a master class, I'm telling you.
Yes.
So you create that. You
And
create the mastery within. Go ahead.
yes, I'm amazed to listen to this because um, my father, he is his name is Patri, Subhash Patri. He's from India as well, and this is the organization he built called Pyramid Spiritual Society, and this is exactly the notion of it: be a master.
Be a master. Your
That's
own.
be a light unto yourself. Be a master, and that's
Bingo.
and he's big on he travels throughout the world and he teaches meditation and
Beautiful.
and the one thing that he teaches is be a master. So it's pretty, yeah, it's pretty amazing to hear that again.
Yeah. It's like Bruce Lee.
Hmm.
I love Bruce Lee. I followed his art and I took Jeet Kune Do, his art that he brought. And it was take what works and keep it and explore it. And when it's done, throw it away.
Yeah.
But don't keep holding yourself accountable just because the ancient idea tradition of pride tells you to for 10,000 years. And then you go around with a badge of honor and you say, I'm accomplished idea, but I have no moment idea of myself. I have no momentary change. I can't express myself without having the hindrance of a law that's bequeathed upon me because I bought into the idea of standards. I'm a creator of change. It's the last law. Change is the only constant except for the first four laws. So
Hmm.
he saw that. He says, go out and find yourself with this art. Explore it within you. Make it your own. Be a master of your own creation. We don't been taught that though. Think about it. Think about it. Think about when we're kids. We got to play. Except in some countries, they don't even let kids play. But in
Hmm.
my country, I got to play until they told me I couldn't play anymore. I had to get serious. I had to be graded. I had to dress right. I had to talk right. I had to walk right. And my parents didn't like what I did. 99% of the time, I wasn't good enough because they want to make me better. So they give me a little bit of love, but not enough. And I have to try harder and try harder. And then I end up hating myself. And I end up relying on the external idea of validation, grades, teachers' praise, educational bachelors and stuff. Nothing wrong with education. Oh, yo, I love education. Okay, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when it becomes an image, a relationship to reality, as an idea, defined image to be maintained for the outside love of others without understanding that you are your own love and you don't need anything else because when you're whole, there's no absence of self-worth. You're whole. So we've been taught to do that. And
Yeah.
we've been taught always to become better, 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 better. First grade, second grade, third grade. Can't wait for fourth. Oh my God, middle school, high school. Oh my God, high school, college. Oh my God, life. And I'm dead. What happened? I forgot to live. I forgot to be here now. Now that's not a problem. We don't need to fix that
Yeah.
because that's part of the game.
Yeah.
All existence is perfect. Remember, everything in existence is unconditional. What the eye of the beholder does with that unconditional is the individual experience. So if you choose to condition life as a slant of negative, then that's your experience. But it's not a permanency. There's no permanent in reality. Change is the only constant except for the first four laws. You exist, what you put out is no. Everything is here now. What you put out is what you get back, and the all are one, and the one are all. And that's it. That's it. And you get to choose anything about that. That's the idea of your own truth. You are your own truth, and you can do whatever you want with it. So you can have negative idea beings out there. You can have negative energies, and you can have negative effects of eating meat.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all yours.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. It's yours at your palate to do what with you will.
Right.
The idea about waking up is to realize your relationship with those things.
Right.
You can have any education, you can have every big house and every big car, and you can have trophy wives and you can have sugar daddies. What you can do that is if it's a relationship of experience or truth that it becomes effortless to you and the experience is known, and then you'll change. But most people hang on to things because we are taught safety, security, and dependency. We're
Mm-hmm.
depending on protection. We're depending on things all the time, and we work hard for them to make our lives happy because we don't know how to be happy without the outside external dependencies. Let me give you one thing idea. Here's Peter Cottontail. Harry, that's you. She's birthed into an idea of a world called human. For billions and billions and gazillions and eons and an infinite amount of time is a Pari Patri. How do you say it?
Pari.
Your name. Huh?
Pari. Pari.
Puri?
Pari. Yes.
Puri. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So was connected. Knowing all of its selves, all of its lives it's experiencing, it's pushing itself in different densities and realms and things that we can't even comprehend. And all of a sudden it takes this one little idea, focus, and beams it down into a co-created human psyche and forgot itself as a creator. Now imagine that emptiness. So we're not creation, and we see creation as covets. Covet. I covet the idea of my mother's love, my
Mm-hmm.
father's love. I need to get accepted. So you objectify everything. And that's why just go ask people, what do you do? Define, 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 categorize, categorize. It's so simple. It's
Mm-hmm.
so easy to spot. And that's not a problem. That's the recognition of the game. So you see yourself as outside and change your point of view as subjective. These are my extensions of me. Now it's my creation. I get to do with I will. Do with it with what I will do. So in that idea, I can change the relationship with things, and some things die. Energy follows awareness. So if I don't want to keep playing the game of misery loves company with my mother or my father, or an idea of a toxic person, those persons are just depending on you for their own love because they don't know how to love themselves. No one ever taught them. And they need you.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden you become your own love and you say, no, bye-bye. Energy follows awareness. Abraham 101. I'm looking at you. I'm keeping you alive. Oh my gosh, bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
Don't answer the text. Don't pick up the phone. Don't go over there. Don't do anything that does no longer prefer. No matter what it is. I don't care what it is because you're a creator and you're never going to be without. Fear teaches you without. Because in the past, well, this happened before and this happens before. And all you do is fight for your
Mm-hmm.
own unworthiness because you're afraid, which I don't blame you,
Right.
to take a chance on yourself, to really experience the idea of the change, the truth inside of you. And you can do that. Everyone can do that. But anyways, so the idea behind this is to realize that you were empty and
Mm-hmm.
now you're turning your light inside and you're starting to choose your reality. You started this idea. You got your own website. You're doing things. You're starting to explore your field. And you're not doing it for purpose. You're doing it because I can and I am. So I do it for the experience and the fulfillment of me forever. That's why I'm here. I can't make anyone like me or anyone do it. And I don't need them to make me whole. I'm not responsible for them. I don't need to be sympathetic or empathetic. And I don't need to be obligated. I don't need anything. Oh, yeah, I am one or all or one. Bingo, I got it. Okay, I'm good. Let me take a chance on me to discover me. So all of a sudden now you are aware that that object is not a covet any longer to be needed. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need that. I am myself. I'm going to take a chance on myself. You don't like what I'm doing. It hurts. It sucks. I hate that you're criticizing me, but that's my belief system. That's my dependency. So thank you for your service because I'm realizing how I need you, but I don't need you. That's my belief system. Give me the emotion of pain. Ow, this hurts. It really hurts. I hate what it is. I'm going to love my hate because it's a discovery of my own belief system that I created because I didn't know any better because I forgot. That's right. I forgot. So it's not my fault. But now I'm awake and I'm aware of my own light. I'm aware of my own beliefs I created.
Mm-hmm.
Just being born on earth. I'm
Right.
wondering why those people think that way and these people think that way. Well, because of culture, because of belief systems. It's so obvious, but that's the way we think we are.
Right.
No, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. You know, the Christians, I fucking hate them. I fucking hate the Christians. You know why I hate the Christians? Because they've killed more people than any other religion in the world. They slaughtered the Native Americans in their idea of the right God. You guys are savages, and you killed these people and killed them and killed them and killed them again and lied to them and killed them in the name of progress, in the name of that. And I was like, oh my God, I fucking hate these people. And I was a Christian. I hate you. And then I realized it's my hate for creation. It's
Yeah.
not them. They
Yeah.
just coveted idea. The Crusades, Constantine, his pagan mom, he just turned away and found the Christ conscious a few hundred years later and said, oh, okay, hey, man, let's all worship this dude. Okay, good. And you built something. He created. That's all he did. He created a life for himself. And it doesn't have to be good or bad or positive. It has to be realized.
Mm-hmm.
That was the key. So I realized my hate was my hate because I saw what they did to people and I didn't like it. But I realized that's my hate in polarity.
Mm-hmm.
So Taoism, Hinduism, Taoism, Daoism, any kind of ism, Muslim, Christian, Protestant, Catholic, it's all a way to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the playground we get to do. But it's when we define it as image at the expense of others is when it becomes polarized in the idea of awakening. So it's awesome that it's happening because now we don't have to have it happen anymore
Right.
because we can focus on our own truth.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start taking away from energy, what happens? It goes away when you don't feed it.
Right.
So if you keep feeding everything, that's what keeps it alive.
So
I
if
don't care what the president or Trump is doing. He's
mm-hmm.
not doing anything wrong.
Right.
The Democrats would have been the same way. They're not doing anything wrong. They're finding out themselves as a master idea. And if it doesn't prefer my reality, I don't focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give it my energy. Enough people, it goes away. How do shows close on Broadway when no one buys tickets anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Don't keep it alive. Focus on the world that's in front of you now. Explore yourself. But anyways, I think my part got on there. Even though you were frozen, it was still on there.
Okay.
So you can edit that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, go on with your next question. I know I babble a lot, but I'm a speaker.
Yeah.
I
I
love
love,
to
I
talk.
love, I love everything that you say.
Yeah.
I love the challenging part of it. So
It
what I,
is a challenge. It
so
is a challenge. Absolutely.
what I understand is that there's absolutely no right or wrong. Everything
Nope.
we can kill people. We can
Yep.
be a monk in
Here.
Himalayas.
Here.
We can
Let
do
me give you
anything.
let me
Yes.
give you why. Let me give you why. Because if there were someone in charge, that
Mm-hmm.
means we would have already collapsed into non-existence. Because if the one are in control of the all, then the one can't go beyond itself because the beyond itself is the all.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we keep unconditional and forever is because we have access to the expression of each individual interpreting reality in what we call simultaneously or sequentialtaneously in the moment and expressing that which gives us a new perception of ourselves. So if we had this as creation because this person is in charge and they can't go beyond their own thought,
Mm-hmm.
then we would have explored every ounce of limitation and we would have collapsed.
Right.
So there's no
That,
wrong.
right. So what?
That's how we stay forever. Go ahead.
Right. So everything is vibration. Everything is energy. So what we
Yeah,
put out, the second law that says what we put out is what we get. If I'm killing people, the vibration that I'm putting out is what I'm going to receive. And if I don't like it, it's not the world that I am to blame, but it's my actions, my own vibration
sure.
I need to
But
change.
but but remember, you're not people think that if they kill people that now here's your karma question that they're going to get karma back. But
Mm-hmm.
how many people out there have been killing and they ain't got no karma?
Yes.
Because there is no karma. Karma is perceived. It's like, okay, a guy runs a red light and a cop comes right behind him and says, oh, instant karma. Yeah, you gotcha. The guy ran a red light and there happened to be a cop there. Now, if that's his attraction and he got that, then that experiencer that says it's karma is choosing a reality out of the unconditional as karmatic. And the
Mm-hmm.
guy in the car says, oh, I didn't know I ran the red light. I'm sorry. Let me have a ticket. I was wrong. And he says, okay, you're right, I'm wrong. See, everyone is individual, but what the humans got to do is scope the reality of course, because of their filters, and make it fit in their own I am. I am this right and I am this wrong. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So no one's right is equal to anyone else's right. But
Mm-hmm.
everyone's right. No one's ever wrong because every right is an interpretation of the righteousness of your own existence. I am, right?
Right.
So people think that if they do something, they attract that same energy. They don't attract the same energy. They attract unconditional reality that's within the frequency band of their framework.
Mm-hmm. So if I understand correctly, so
Yeah,
this whole karma thing is, what I know is that it's just programming that we
sure.
it has been encoded
But
within us.
yeah, but think about it. If you don't know anything and you see bad things, you got to assign it to something. There was one point on humanity where there was no gods. Then
Mm-hmm.
we were introduced gods. They're called aliens, but we called them gods because
Right.
they were outside of us and they were more powerful. And
Mm-hmm.
then we start to worship and deities and all that stuff. And when something was happening, we were being punished, like a drought. And then we needed prayer. So we start praying to these gods that were here and then they're gone. So we did something, whatever the folklore is, and there's 1,000 different stories to talk about here. But in and of itself, we put karma as a cause and effect because we have to look at ourselves as the reasonality of pain and happiness. We have to place it somewhere on our own individual scale of suffering and happiness and anywhere in between. And so we assigned a meaning through the idea of the evolution of religion, karma. It's a you can call it a programming, but it's a thing to understand. Now, when you're a little child, right? And the Christians, by the way, that the Christians here, let's just talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
You're calling people devil worshippers and
Yeah.
sacrificial people because of what they do, what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you have communion and you're eating the flesh of the Christ conscious and you're drinking the blood. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. So that's a Christian belief that's okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Hindu, and I don't know if it's Hindu, but karma is okay because it was taught. So you feed it into these kids and you don't know anything. Remember, I forgot, I'm here, I am, I see what I am, that's what it is. That's why the Muslims hate these people and the Christians hate these people and the Hindus hate these people, or they love people and they want them to do that, right? Look
Mm-hmm.
what the Turks did to the Armenians. They won't even admit they committed genocide. But you know what they did? They created a life. That's all they did. That was in the news. That's why I brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did to the Mongolians, what the Chinese did to the Mongolians. A perfectly peaceful people. We can't have peace.
Yeah.
But that's what they said. That's what their culture invoked as a truth of separation through fear, through lack. You're wrong, I'm right. I've got more weapons and I've got more people, so I'm going to kill you. And they do, because we can. Because we're here forgotten to find ourselves through the own experience of our own evolution. And it's been happening a very long time, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the home stretch. It's like
Yeah.
the Kentucky Derby, and down the stretch they come. We're in the last it. We're in the last. This is it. And this is the most exciting time. That's why everyone that's watching this is awake. And that's why you came here, because this is the end game. This is a show of all shows.
Mm-hmm.
You're right here at the Great Awakening. And we came here to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, sure, you have other lives and other selves and other things going on, but don't worry about that one.
Right.
This is I am. Be here and now, and you'll really get to know it. So yeah, it's a programming that was taught through the religions of time, and those are the things that when we live that life, that's not wrong. It's not wrong to be karmatic. It's not wrong. It's a way to be. But when you wake up, you can start to make different choices on the way to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to give prayers to an outside God that claims he loves me, but if I don't find him, he's going to send me to eternal hellfire because some fuckface ate an apple.
Mm-hmm.
And they blame it on a woman. But take away Christianity, and before that, women were in charge. And they blame the men. Wow. But we don't pay attention to that. We pay attention to what's valuable right now to keep ourselves happy, mediocre, and in the idea of a perceived safe and secure package so we can get through life. And that's cool. But the awakeners, the enlighteners, you, me, people starting to find the love for themselves and expressing that no matter what, the idea of the reflection, no matter what comes at you, be your truth no matter what family member, no matter what dependency you're going to rip apart, no matter whatever the I am that's going to get hurt and upset, you're going to find yourself and you're going to know you're right as rain and everything around you is beautiful no matter what. No matter what you see, no matter what you perceive, you can't see it with slanted eyes anymore because you understand yourself and the idea of experiencing I am, all that is.
Yes.
Fantastic. So yeah, it was a construct and
So
it's not wrong.
yeah. So again, yes, it is not wrong. And so the idea here is whatever we believe in our subconscious mind is expressing as a reality in our as an experience. So if I believe in the construct of karma, it is going to be expressed in my reality. I'm going to
It,
experience that.
yeah, but you have to express it. It's like, okay, you did something bad. You deserve karma. And when karma comes along in your eyes, then you have that experience of karma.
Right. And
But
if
it's not karmatic to the eye of the beholder.
right.
They're having an experience that's interpreted by them. Whatever your experience is not what their experience is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when a cow gets slaughtered. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's
Yes.
talk about the pain of animal cruelty.
Yes.
There's no death. Cutting down a tree is not a bad thing. Okay, okay, cool. Eating a plant is not a bad thing. Okay, I get it. Okay, because that's perception. But you're killing the plant and you're killing the animal. But since the animal is sentient and you can see a reaction out of the animal, then you interpret that they're in pain because they're flailing around, blood is gushing everywhere, and they're having an experience of death.
Mm-hmm.
But did you hear what I just said? They're having an experience of death. In
Mm-hmm.
order to have an experience of death, they have to be alive. So the cow is experiencing its death just like when you cook spinach, which, by the way, it starts out big and it's just like nothing at the end. What's
Mm-hmm.
up with spinach? What a joke that is. I love spinach. Go with kale, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah.
anyways, so that right there, cutting carrots, pulling them out of their own home, and then eating them and cooking them is wrong
Right.
to me because you're doing it to the cow too. So I'm over here and I'm a guide and I'm going, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Everything is alive.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is alive and you're killing everything. But they can't see it that way. And then I can't see it that way. So I can't see anyone hurting vegetation. Vegetation is having an experience of being eaten, digested,
Mm-hmm.
excreted, put into the soil, becoming food, growing itself into a tree, and expressing itself in the leaf. And then the leaf falls and comes into the ground, and maybe this time it's bark. Maybe that one little portion next time is a branch that supports life. And maybe it gets eaten by a bird and picks up some of its DNA and planted it in the ground, and it bursts itself as the evolution. And it becomes a bird next time, or at least a bird feather. Are you kidding me? You're going to put labels on reality? Well, yeah, because you can't. Because that's all you know
Mm-hmm.
until someone comes along and offers you something else. So slaughtering an animal and slaughtering a plant is a point of view. No one's in pain. The pain is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone sees their own suffering. Humanity's pastime, by the way. I mean, America's pastime is baseball, right? Humanity's pastime is suffering. So it's in the eye of the beholder. Truth lies in the eye of the beholder. That's one thing that got through. It
Right.
got through and said one man's trash is another man's treasure. Everyone, it doesn't prefer that. That's your trash. Take it. but it's this person's treasure. They can have their truth and you can have yours. We're all right here.
Right.
But we made laws and we made these ideas. And hey, man, we're playing the game. We're playing the game of evolution. We're remembering ourselves. And through the construct of polarization, we have atrocities and we have rapes and we have murders and we have hope and we have children and we have pizza,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
get to do these things because we're alive.
Yes.
And when you start to and take that and embrace the idea, you're not going to make the choices of doing those things any longer. You're going to know yourself no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you find yourself awakening, and then all of a sudden you want to kill somebody, and
Mm-hmm.
you go out and kill them, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get caught, and then you go to prison for the rest of your life, then you're an experiencer of yourself. So when you start to get to know yourself,
Yeah.
take the journey of truths and find out whatever is palatable to you. Is it an image or is it me? We used to say, is it real or is it Memorex? The echo is Memorex. Real is my truth. And it's going to take a while to get to know that because we were never taught the value of ourselves. We were taught we were worthless. We had to earn respect. We had to earn the right to sit at the big boys' table. We had to earn through hard work and effort. And if it wasn't held accountable to someone else's standards, we're a piece of fodder.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore because where I am now, we're waking up to that.
Mm-hmm.
So go and explore the world, whatever that is. And don't be afraid. God, don't be afraid, because you're worth the journey. But
And
go
what
ahead.
about the ascension, or forget about the ascension, about raising a vibration to experience a higher vibrational reality?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. What's lower?
Um,
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Come on, baby.
okay. For me, lower was when I was living in fear, when I was living in
But
people.
that's not a lower vibration. That's a vibration that you labeled lower because it felt
Exactly.
lower.
Hmm.
But what's higher? Better than lower? Thanks for playing, but that's polarized.
Yes, yes, you're
There's
right.
no higher vibration. There's just vibration. How you interpret that vibration is your experience of higher or lower.
Correct. So the vibration that I was in, I did not enjoy it. I was not happy. I was not.
Did you change it?
So I changed my vibration,
Okay.
and
You started interpreting reality, therefore you got different experiences. You
mhm,
change your interpretation of reality. You let go of these filters. Remember, filters come in.
right.
Life is this way. People get pissed off right away. That's wrong because it comes through a filter and says I'm wrong because that's what they believe and that's their truth and they will fight and kill for it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when you change that, then you have a different experience of the same scenario. That scenario doesn't have the same emotional attachment. Therefore, the reality is the same, but you are interpreting it different. Therefore, you feel different and you've raised your vibration.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I guess that's the term that we give. And you're right. It's
Sure.
everything is a vibration. There's no lower,
No, there's no
there's
lower or
no
no higher. I
hierarchy.
am, and I am all that is. And nothing is
Right.
better than me, and nothing is worse than me, except that what I interpret from my own experience of realization. Period.
Absolutely. And
Booyah.
for me to shift that and to even know that I have everything is a choice. Whatever I do is a choice for me.
How
And
you interpret that. Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And and I lived in a world where I thought that I didn't have a choice, that I had to
Right.
please, I had to live
Yeah.
here, I had to struggle, I had to have
Yeah.
a visa to stay here.
And
Other
how awesome was that?
yes,
And
absolutely.
now, but in memory, God, that hurt.
Yeah. And
Now that I look at it, I've changed it. I don't have to be afraid anymore.
yeah, I
That's what I did.
absolutely,
Good.
I know your
Keep going.
story, and I love your story, and it resonated with me so much, the way your story was, just to give a little background to our viewers. I heard your story about how you became Roxanne from Roy,
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
affected you, how it your whole reality was devastated at that point, and then you chose to be Roxanne.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for 2 minutes.
I don't think
About,
it'll take 2 minutes. It'll probably go longer, but we'll give
yeah,
it a shot.
I mean that's an
But
incredible
remember,
story.
remember something about you. When you look past at yourself, From the
Mhm.
here and now, we create vibrational. The now creates the memory.
Right.
Sometimes you're never going to remember parts of your life.
Yeah.
How old are you? Here, let
I,
me use me. Huh?
I'm
How?
37. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
37. I'm
Yeah.
50, coming up on 53.
Okay.
So let's me and you think hard as we can and write down every memory of the past. And we're going to come up with maybe what? A year?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years?
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it?
Yeah.
It's not in our memory because memory is created in the moment and it matches the vibration of I am. So those things that you're reflecting on are current to the idea of this conversation. So we can have the experience using the tools of the memory to understand ourselves in our own evolution. I love memory because it shows me how I've evolved, not what I've regretted.
Yeah.
People go, "Oh, you used to do that. You're a bad person." Ugh! And then you birth a new person by making a choice, and then you regret your choice and you blame yourself. Without that, there's no this. This is evolution, not regret. Don't let anything live rent free in your life. And that's what I love about you.
Yeah.
You can see how you were in a society, chose the parents, they chose you, say, yeah, come on in. Created this idea incarnation and lived the covets of separation, of forgetfulness, and found your own light.
Mhm.
That's a master.
Mhm.
That's what you did. So, anyways,
Okay.
talk about Roxanne.
Yes. Yeah. Let's
I'm
talk.
like talking myself in the third. Let's talk about Roxanne.
Yeah. So how did it all begin? What was the moment that happened that you said, you know what, this is, I have to change. It has to.
Yes. Well, there's always an underlying tone, an underlying current in your reality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, I know a lot of people were representing change. I was alive in the 80s. I saw people get slaughtered because they were gay. I saw them get beat up. I saw them get killed. Now, gay is everything. It's fashionable.
Mm-hmm.
People are out there being, I am gay. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's okay. Why? Because it's not the devil. It's wrong in the Bible, but the Bible is full of shit, and a lot of people are starting to realize the Bible is just another belief system. It's another construct to be understood as the evolutionary self of humanity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so that starts to crumble, and that starts to crumble, and then you have people, and then you have women, and they're up in higher places, and they're getting equal play, and the movement's happening. It's going to take a little more time. Relax, we're doing it. But now just transgender is the next thing because I'm not gay,
Mm-hmm.
but I love men.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very difficult for me to figure out in my mind. I couldn't figure that out. I could not understand why I felt this way. And when I was around guys, I look at their thinking, I was like, I don't understand anything you guys are saying. I didn't understand it. And then trying to be what my parents expected me to be as a male and had to be this and I had to be that and all that. And inside, I was like, everything was tearing me apart. I couldn't do it. I couldn't believe it. I felt the femininity. I had the expression of femininity, but I was looked at as a lack of a better word, a piece of shit,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I had to change this and push it down and be the image, Roy, and try to be what everyone wanted me to be. And that's the game. That was the construct. I love what I did. I'm not mad at myself for doing that. And I tried an effort, but always inside of me. And then I start flirting with men because men were hot. Anyway, woo. Anyways, so I'm loving men, and I have to start to adventure in that field and started to play a little bit and to feel my own comfortable. But the key is I couldn't be gay because
Yeah.
I didn't feel gay. But I never realized I was vibrating in a frequency of preference called feminine.
Right.
I didn't know that. I tried to be it. I understood it as a child, but that was squashed. And I forgot it. You forget things over time and you try. And I was like, no. And then that one fundamental point was I'm dressed up with my third ex-wife. I have a set of ex-wives, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
My third ex-wife. I'm playing dress up. When it came to sex, there was no holds bar. I want to explore it. So I'm dressed up as a woman, and she's doing the bondage thing on me, right? We're exploring bondage. And I looked at myself dressed in, and I was like, oh, in the mirror, I saw me. I was like, oh my God. And I melted. And then I connected. Right then, that's when I said, I get it. It's not that I'm gay. I'm heterosexual.
Mhm.
I'm just a woman. And everything fell into place. And it happened so fast. I mean, this was like in January of 2010. I found my transgender psychiatrist in February. And June, I walked out of the house, never, ever, 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 ever again as a man. Roy was gone. Roxanne was here. June 10, 2010.
Mhm.
And that's it. And then I started understanding what this was. I went through clothes. I went through the obsession with bigger boobs. I'm on hormones. I grew my own. I got my hair. I was dyeing it. I was wearing nails. I was wearing tight jeans. I was wearing heels. I was exploring what it is to be feminine, to express it, to find myself because I'm in a playground of I am and I can. And I did. And I took some things that used to be truth and I shedded them. I used to have nails all the time.
Mhm.
Now that I'm cooking, I started cooking out of the blue and
Mhm.
I love cooking. It's like this little Esmeralda witch pops into my head and we start cooking in the kitchen and I start getting this stuff intuitively because, well, I'm a channel and stuff. We wish a channel too.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
um, and then all of a sudden, I don't want to wear nails anymore. And my jean here, I've got 5 pairs, 6 pairs of jeans. That's all I wear right now. So I change as my life in my expression of myself is discovered. I express it in the change of myself. I got piercings. I got 2 septum piercings. I'm going to get one more because I have this idea in my head and I'm going to express that. And I got my traguses done too. I've never had that because it felt right to do that.
Right.
And I want to find out what I am. So I do it and I have no fears about it. So that 10-year journey up until now, well, it's coming up on 10 years next year, 6 months away, I suppose, or something. I'm going to, has been my journey of taking it, wearing it, expressing it, and letting it go. The journey of truths. I'm never held accountable to time. I am the discoverer of a now. But time is a great factor for humanity. They love to hold themselves accountable. People are alcoholics and they haven't had a drink in 20 years, and they wear that as a badge of honor of pride because if they don't, then they're an alcoholic either way, but it'd rather be dry than a wet alcoholic, and that's for some reason better. So they held themselves accountable because they had an action in the past, and then their action isn't in there. And it's the same as a felon. We make everyone be a felon. You're a felon. Okay, so I'll never hire you because you're a felon. What you did 20 years ago, you'll never do again. And I know that and you know that, but you're a felon, so you're going to have to wear that. So we hold ourselves accountable. And that's the human game. It's the drama. It's not right or wrong. It just is. But I realize I can't hold myself accountable in time in the evolution of self remembered. So I keep doing, and what was, and what is, and that's where I live. And what will be is always a surprise. Because if I'm here and now, I'm drawing in my truth. And whatever my truth is going to be embraced and understood as the evolutionary self of remembered, not the idea of good, bad, indifferent, purpose, meaning, outcome, accountability, responsibility, cause, effect,
Mhm.
karma. All that's gone.
Yeah.
It's great. Thanks. I'm not playing it anymore.
Yeah.
Through Roxanne was the greatest idea of realization that I'm okay with me. No one liked it. I lost friends, my parents, my family. Everyone was like having a real tough time with it because I ain't a passable transgender, but I'm also not a fighter for transgender rights. I'm
Mhm.
also not that. I'm not an activist. I'm not going to go out and do that. I'll let other people do that. Let them do that. Let them have it. I don't care.
Mhm.
I am this life, and what I represent is for people in the moment to understand themselves. I don't need to get on a soapbox and start preaching and teaching and stuff like that because I'm okay as myself. And I don't need anyone else's approval. So if you call me sir, if you call me ma'am or whatever, I don't care. Just call me. So, anyways, it's just a discovery of self and the value of things that's depletes. To discover the I am as is priceless. You
Mhm.
can't know how awesome you are until you start to love you. And how do you love you? Just like you did. You start choosing your truth. And you realize, oh my God, I don't need to be karma. I don't need to be this. I don't need to be that. That's their truth. And it's very painful to let go of those things because you have emotions, you have dependencies, you have attachments, you have image. And that's the structure of God in and of itself, creating a personality. And all of a sudden you woke up to your persona and you start seeing your personality and goes, I don't like me anymore. I don't want to be that anymore. I didn't want to be Roy anymore. I didn't want to be this anymore or that anymore. I wanted to be I am, and I am is a constant change of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I am today. And maybe next week I'll have something else.
Right.
But I love myself, and that's priceless. I don't need anything because it's all here. Make sense?
Wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
That's where Roxanne came from, and I'm so glad I took the chance. And it was a bitch. It was a struggle. I
Yeah.
couldn't get jobs. You know, I was 17 years in the car business and I had a talent for penciling deals, and working and closing deals. I was a great shutter. And
Mm.
I had this ability and no one would hire me and it hurt. It hurt because I'm rejected on everything that I depended on. I had a dependency because humanity taught me the dependency on the external acceptance and I had to change for them, but I couldn't change for them or I would have slit my wrists. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't have lived anymore without this in here being expressed. I couldn't hide anymore from myself. I couldn't fake it anymore. So I became I am. And it worked out through the fear, through the insults, through the non-acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
You work on those things to realize those are your interpretations. Everyone has the right to tell me what the fuck they think I am. I don't care anymore because I have no value in their idea because I know that I am.
Yeah.
The dependency of interpretation is no longer. What they say is their truth. Have it. All right. Have a Coke and a smile. Bye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. Pardon me.
Absolutely. So that's wonderful. And I so resonate with that story because that's exactly how my story was when I decided that I it's my choice to be authentic. I don't care who likes me or not. I don't care
Right.
anymore.
It
And
hurts though, but
absolutely.
it's exquisite.
Yeah, I quit my job and I said I am going to teach what I know and become a millionaire, and that's what I started. I don't have to. I don't have to. For me, it was the biggest thing with spirituality and money. How can I charge money teaching meditation or doing this?
Because you can.
Yes, and I had to.
And you're worth it.
Yes, and I had to reprogram myself, remove all
Yep.
the belief systems,
Yep.
and yeah, and it all worked out. And I'm so happy that I'm supporting my family and doing what I love.
You look at the relationship with money. We depend on money, but people have so many beliefs about money. You don't deserve it. Money's dirty. It's bad. It causes this, or money is this, or money is that. And we make money a thing. If
Right.
you're worth money, you're going to attract money. As long as money is being used as the collective whole,
Yeah.
get your money. Because
Yeah.
money provides access. What does it provide? It provides access to things you find on Amazon. It
Mhm.
provides access to having a car and putting the gas in the car to get places.
Yeah.
If everything was free, there's no money.
Yeah.
So you take the idea of that abundance as a portion of your abundant life and don't be afraid of it and don't be afraid to put it out there that you're worth it because you are.
Right. Absolutely.
Damn right
So
you are.
now I was wondering if we can bring in our masters from the other density.
Sure. Hang on.
Okay. So before
Let
we
me get,
bring in, who do we know who will come? Is it just spontaneous?
oh
Spontaneous.
yeah, well it's not really spontaneous. It's already there in the now. We're just catching up to the now in time.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Wonderful.
Let me get another water. Hang on real quick, okay?
Okay. Three.
All right, hang on. Let me get him in here. Spirited creator Roxanne is, See, she expresses something. It's worth. Some people say she yells. Some people say she's too vibrant. Some people say, and they're just going to keep saying until they realize their own love. And that's how Roxy journeys. See, she has to find the truth and never ever hinder it, never stifle it. If it's anger and rage, hate and glory, hope and humanity and salvation and salvation, whatever is in her mind to be expressed and embraced, well, then she knows. And when you know, the unknowable continues to come and evolution is natural. Truly, Osiphus, one day back in your history, not too long ago, in the echoes of 3, 4, maybe 5 years, you said this is an effortless journey, and you are truly, as we all are, effortless gods. The effort is a construct that the self right now is not enough. So tell me if creation really screwed up on creating you, that you have to be better because you're born into a negative situation and you're carrying your ancestral karma and you have to shed it and work it off. Hmm? And you understand that you're not worth anything and you got to work your way back up. And if you find yourself through that, you find your expression through that, and you find the I am and you embrace whatever is in you, then the evolution of self remembrance can only continue as the effortless idea God creates reality as always and ever shall be. So, all of you out there, when you look at yourselves as a reflection, creation in and of itself is a what you put out, what you get back idea that is neutral until you assign it meaning. Realize that that interpretation is your own revelation to evolve you as an experiencer, but not in betterment. There's no degraded gods. There's no losing your stripes and earning them back into the good keep of all that is. You guys are a marvel, a master class of separation. I would like to give you maybe a little scenario for maybe a comparison idea. Remember, you can do whatever you want. Everything in existence is yours, and I prefer to do this. Let's say you round up 100 friends and you put labels on them before you incarnate as a human. 100 of them. And we all go, let's go human together. And one goes, I'd rather be a guide. I'd rather be this. I'd rather be that. And the only one out of that 100 is you that chose the bravery. Don't discount your worth of coming to a physical world created by the manifestations of I am to experience the forgetfulness in such a degree of reality that you truly know not you are God. Truly awesome, masters. All right, you have some questions, I believe. May we talk now?
Yes, thank you.
You're most welcome.
And today, am I talking to Ossiphus right now?
No, no, Osiphus is more greetings and we
Okay.
bid you a good day.
Okay.
I'm just, let's say, an echo within the consciousness of Roxanne. Everybody is a gestalt of itself. Many of you have read the Seth material, Seth Speaks. The idea of Jane Roberts taking this big ball of energy that was pushing itself into the reality of channeled and
Mhm.
calling itself Seth. And behind that is a million selves. We are the same. We are Gestalt. We are Leviathan. Greetings. Go ahead.
Thank you. So my question is how about the time itself, which is it is perceived as time, past, present, and future in the 3D dimension. But what?
Yes, it is a tool, not a standard. But standard was taught because time seems to pass because you have, let's say, a sun up and a sun down,
Mhm.
and you can measure it in time. See, you are in a third dimensional world, adding another dimension. You're in a fourth dimensional world or a third density, the fourth dimension being time element.
Mhm.
It's part of the game. Until you change your relationship, then it can turn from an idea of a standard to a tool. No one knows what time it is until they ask what time it is or look at their watch or validate what time it is. And that moment has time in it. And then from that point of time, the memories created to yesterday, day before, 10 years ago. Or maybe, okay, today's Monday, it's Wednesday, I've got 2 days until I have that appointment. And that is not now, but it is in the now created as a potential of usage of time.
Mhm.
So go ahead.
So my question is more in terms of reincarnation. So when there is no
Reincarnation is much like your karma. It
Mhm,
is a projection of an image of occurrence on what happens. Now, if you are reincarnating, aren't you just incarnating?
mhm,
So why is it reincarnating? Because you put it in time. So
right.
you use the tool of time and to label an idea of an experience as again called reincarnate until you get it right most times. Until you work it all off, you reincarnate, you're caught in a cycle as if life is a prison. But that's a human interpretation of a valid self working its way through this suffering as a reason why to have the suffering so it can reincarnate and learn a little bit more in the next life and the next life and the next life. But each life in and of itself is unique, and each life has no time attached. But you can create psyches of time. You can put yourself right now as an incarnation of 1,000 years ago, or right now as an incarnation of 1,000 years forward in time. You can call that a future self. You can call one a past self. This self has been reincarnated because of my last self. It's all interpretation and place in reality as interpretation. Remember your Seth masters. Everything is relating to reality. How you relate to reality is your experience of reality, period. Until you change your framework about reality, then the experience stays the same. And it takes a few hundred years sometimes for things to leave the psyche as valid. There, let's use an easy one. Roxanne loves this. I'll dip into her little memory. You guys don't drill holes in heads to let out demons anymore. But it was a common practice. Beheading people was a common practice. Lobotomies were still common in America up until 1986 because the people were mentally ill, mentally disturbed. They were wrong. Then we got educated and we start paying attention to medicines and psyches and discoveries, and we start labeling, and that's part of the evolution. That's the construct of the belief system. And one of those, just like all of them, a defined idea of reincarnation is a translation of creation. It's not one of the five laws, so therefore it's not permanent. The only permanency are the five laws. That's it. Everything else is an interpretation to create as truth as the experiencer of herself. And the five laws in and of itself allow you to have the unconditional as you choose. Are you following this idea?
Yes.
Take them.
Yes, thank you. So so if all we have is now, and
Yes.
if I chose a incarnation 1,000 years back, at this present moment, my awareness is in this lifetime, and when I choose to focus on that lifetime, I am present in that lifetime.
If your ability to that relationship is truth, then absolutely. Because you're incarnating both,
Right. And
aren't you?
yes, and it's happening at this moment,
It's
everything.
all happening right now. It's just a different point of view. When you relate to a reality, you have a different experience. Right now, you guys think the past, you as a human collective mass, believe the past is inaccessible because it's not happening in the present. But the present is what gives you access to the past because the past is created out of the present. So if you are inclined enough to back yourself up, turn to the right and go down that focus and let your imagination play out your 1572 incarnation. You know her name, you know what she's doing, and you can feel it. Now, if you have the quality of being that self, then you won't remember that self because that self is a forgotten creator as well. Although you, as a remembered self, can experience that self as an idea of the experiencer created of that self. The incarnation is unique to itself, which is a little sticky for your mind, I can see.
Mhm.
Are you following?
Yes, I am trying to. Yes.
Yes, it's difficult because you have structures in place. But
Right.
as we deplete these structures, so let's say I'm now
Hmm.
you. So I am the whole of you, and this arm is going to represent peaking as the construct.
Hmm.
So the hand knows itself as you. Are you following?
Hmm.
The energy is flowing from I am, the whole of me.
Hmm.
I choose to create a point of view focus Then I choose another one. This is my 1527 self. This
Mhm.
is my 1684 self. This is my 3400 BC self. They're all in the now, so wherever I focus, I'm always now and they're always happening. So you realize this more and more, then you can shift your focus and understand that incarnation as the experiencer of that perception,
Mhm.
the personality, which is actually you, the persona, having an experience. Are you
Yeah.
following now a little better?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So don't figure this out because you don't have the tools in your memory to figure it out because it has not been experienced.
Mhm.
However, if you are now open to it and allow the now, surrender to the isness of intelligence, then intelligence will give you epiphanies over the next few days, which takes sometimes an insatiable amount of patience for most humans, to allow information to become epiphanized as you be your natural self and humanity. And then out of the blue, I realize things. As if there's something out of the blue.
Mhm.
It's truly just vibrational match of creation and remembrance of the intelligence of you.
Right. My next question is about us being the multidimensional beings. We exist in.
That's what we were just talking about.
Okay.
I am 1,000 selves.
Right.
Within the gestalt of me, I have 1,000,000 selves.
Mhm.
The whole of me, the all are one, one are all. There's no end to you and no beginning to you. There is only I am of me. See, you want placement. You want a higher self, a whole self, an oversoul collective. You got to have a ladder because that's how humans work in definement of where I am among things. But you are among things as I am. So life is not about anything. Life in and of itself is about. So look about you and experience your life and let the wisdom start to remember itself.
Mhm.
So the multidimensional facet itself, if you can imagine yourself as a diamond in the light inside of it. And then you peek out of this facet and you have that life. And you peek out of this facet and have that life. And you peek out of this facet and you're having that life. So if everything is now, you're having all the lives at the same time. But your focus in time only realizes this life. But
Mhm.
this life is forgotten. But this life knows it's a whole self. This life knows it's a whole self, the Pleiadian self, the reptilian self, the Arcturian self, the Andromedan self, the idea of the Zephyr self, the idea of any self that you create. And we're just giving things that are tangible to the collective right now. Those selves are realized connection of the whole, but they're not going, oh my God, oh, okay, so I'm going to pop my fingers and create ease. That's human. These are explorers of selves. So the draconian is realizing itself as a draconian. The Pleiadian is realizing itself in the Pleiadian and the experience around it. It's not missing anything. It doesn't have lack about what it's not. It is and always has been what is. You are what is not to remember what I am as what is. Hmm? So
Mhm.
that what is being realized right now. So you'll get to the multidimensional self, and it's more than you can ever fathom as a, let's say, a human interpretation, a
Mhm.
secretion of time, a fathomable way to map it. You can't because it's not in the resources of humanity because humanity started in I am not. So
Mhm.
you cannot use the tools of the human memory to understand what this is.
Mhm.
You have to do I am and let the evolution occur as the natural beauty to remember yourself and let the intelligence become you again as it's always been, but you've just been focused as I am not.
Mhm.
Now you're focusing on I am, and you'll realize what it is to be a multidimensional faceted self.
Mhm.
Just like Roxanne. Let's look at this. Roxanne realizes that she's Roxanne, but she's not a channeler to be the greatest channeler as her hopes had been to be on stage rubbing elbows with Daryl Anka and Esther Hicks, to be among the greats. That was image. That was hope. That was effort. She backed off of that and realized that she is I am, and whatever plays, plays. And then what's made available to her is, oh, here's Esmeralda. Here, this is an idea of a crafter, an alchemist from before the lore of humanity understands itself. Another time, a society of humanity that is way before the Homo sapien idea, that
Mhm.
used the earth as an extension of itself. Spells and conjurings and healings and stuff in a hostile world that was in its idea of fear in its own unique way, but not the separation idea. So she knows she is that access to that self. And then she envelops that self and brings it into the palatable idea of humanity as her expression and starts to play in the endless playground of realization. This is being the multidimensional, connecting with another self, and then taking the access to that intelligence and expressing it in this way without image. She's not going to be a witch. She's not going to be a idea, because that's the idea of image, and she has no appetite to be imaged anymore. She is only expressed. And however the channeling goes this and this goes this or whatever, it's an endless field of I am. And just because you're here doesn't mean you're not here and now, which is all that is.
Mhm.
You just don't have access to it. Are you following?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that was an excellent, intelligent question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Next question is, I really wanted to know your, from where do you come from? How does your
Hmm.
dimensional density look like? Just to,
Hmm.
from a, for us
Hang
to
on.
understand.
Densities are very specific. Realms are very specific. They're a frequency band that is very, very slivered. Hmm?
Mhm.
In the idea of roaming the galaxies, that in and of itself is an experience, but it's not the structure of, let's say, a third density. What does third density contain for you? I would say it contains gravity.
Mhm.
I would say it contains sound, compression. In
Mhm.
space, you have no sound, but in an atmosphere of the third density, compression, you have reflection of sound, and you have that experience. So most densities and realms, like the angelic realm, is
Mhm.
a quality of life in and of itself that is different than what you would understand what I am. Because I am not doing anything as a density, but I have several thousand cells that are densified, realmed, and things that are not comprehensible to the human collective as of yet.
Mhm.
But I have very busy selves doing that, but I am right here and now with you. So I'm not from anywhere because I was not birthed anywhere. I
Mhm.
create everywhere from the isness of my own I am.
Mhm.
So if you want to be from somewhere, then you can create that reality. And so I'm from here because you feel maybe I have a connection with the Pleiadians, which is a lot of humans have connection with Pleiades because of the lore of Pleiadian interaction with the knowledge they give with the pyramids and the Hathor civilization with their sound and their toning and their levitation abilities of using sound to levitate really big bricks so you can build things. So, so you have connections with these ideas, and you can say you're from there. And you may have a self truly in your discerning heart. You are a self, but you're not from there. Because we're nowhere, because we create wheres. We're
Mhm.
isness. We're thought without placement. We're
Right.
thought behind the thought. We're isness.
Mhm.
Unexpressed to expression. Undefined to be defined.
Mhm. And do you have a self in this density?
On third density, no, not as an idea of your galactic eye. I don't have a self here in the Leviathan idea. Now, my collective of Leviathan
Mhm.
does have many selves, but
Mhm.
I am not expressing a self as what you would call in third density. But
Mhm.
I'm part of the gestalt that was called in here as a vibrational potential. That Leviathan has plenty of selves. We've got mermaids down there. We've got whales down there. We've got dolphins down there. We have a whole belugas and narwhals
Mhm.
and seals.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
They're all being expressed.
Mhm.
Some are sentient, some are evolving to sentient.
Mhm.
It's all or one or all, not separated and defined by an expression of limitation for said time until graduation appears to move on. It's all choice of understanding yourself.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Mhm.
Oh, superb.
And And I wanted to know, what is the message now for everybody that is watching? What is the message?
No message. I think it's been said enough. Find you and love you, but I don't have a preconceived message because you guys are not in peril. You
Mhm.
don't need me. Your worth is being realized by the experience of you joining this conversation in and of itself. That's enough for you to go on. So the message has been sent because you've arrived in the now. Wherever you are in the now is the truth of you to explore and get to know you. Don't be afraid of you. You guys call it down here, I noticed, the dark night of the soul. You guys put the soul thing in such a complex manner, like the soul is in charge, or the soul can be taken or given, or if it's up for auction between the God and the devils. That's all crap. It's all social memory complex. It's bullshit belief systems. Make sense?
Mhm.
Let's not put yourself in the accountability of something else. There's no message that you guys have to learn or do this or do that. Just realize your own isness right now, and that's enough. It
Mhm.
doesn't have the tangibles of humanity of a completatory outcome that can be measured in the greatness of movement to be better because you procure yourself in the now as something of less than. I'm not enough. The dark night of the soul is the exploration of self. Forget about the soul and forget about the dark and all that stuff and just say, I am, and I'm going to find everything in the idea of me. And wherever it fits on the polarized scale is my interpretation of reality that I can look at and change my interpretation of it, and therefore I can change my relationship to I am. And only realize the light that I have always been. The light comes from within. It's not outside shine. The universe doesn't have a message for you because it's not in control. There's nobody in charge. Can you imagine if there was some asshole in charge of creation? There's not. We would not be if there was in charge.
Mhm.
We are ourselves, an infinite number of expressions of the whole, finding and discovering the isness of the possibilities of creation, which is endless. So there's no true message, masters. If you want a message, realize I am. Go in the mirror and say I'm enough. Say I'm worth this journey. I can worth to say no. Someone wants me to do something and they're tugging on my heartstrings of sympathy and empathy, or they're using obligation as tyrannical modes of getting what they need through the dependency of me. I'm going to be worth and say I'm not going to do it today. In other words, bye-bye. And you take your energy away from that, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. If it's your truth, explore yourself and trust the master within that
Mhm.
you are a creator and your reality has always been perfect in the now. It's your interpretation that says it's been good or bad, but always I am here and now is self evident. So, doesn't that mean you are the experience or business? You've been chosen to exist? That you've always been here and now? Pain lies in the futures of fears and the past of regrets? Suffering is an interpretation of a reality upon another that I interpret them or me through them suffering?
Mhm.
How magnificent it is to see now that this game is a chosen construct for me to experience the possibilities of creation that no other master dared to choose except me and my compadres that I see. But you don't give homage to them, you don't bow down to them, you
Yeah.
don't put them and worship them. You say, thanks, dude.
Mhm.
Little fist bump and move on in the now. Start to discover I am
Yes.
because you're worth the journey. All masters are. Otherwise, we wouldn't be. What else?
It's just
Oh,
wonderful, yeah, to be here with your energy at this time.
are we okay on time? You want
Yes,
to end and you have children, yes?
yes, I do have children, and
You know your children are God's.
yes,
So when you treat them as an experiencer of life and you guide them instead of teach them what there shouldn't be, then
yes.
you're going to find the discovery of a God reflected. You
Hmm.
know, some humans get jealous. Some humans want to beat down their children and tell them that they're dumb because they don't know how to love themselves, and that's not right or wrong. But if you are realizing those are little creators physicality little, but gestalts as I am, as
Mm.
you are, then you allow them to discover themselves and you give them the garden of the gods to play in so they can find themselves within the reflection of your light. Now that is a master.
Yes. I have one last question before I go.
We
Uh,
have one last answer.
yeah, thank you. About the pyramids, they mentioned about the pyramids. The technology was given by the Pleiadians. Is that right?
That's part of it, yes. The sound idea, vibrations, the way it's slanted, the toning idea, and you can go in there and resonate at a certain frequency where your body turns into liquid light, if you will, and
Mhm.
then you can transfer your awareness to the Pleiadians in and of itself and make a phone call.
Okay.
That's one thing to do with the pyramids, but there's a couple other things. They were also storage of water before they were found and built upon again,
Mm-hmm.
because the Nile provided a lot of water, and I don't know if you noticed it was a desert.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a many uses of the times of the pyramid. It wasn't one pyramid and that was the finite. It was several ideas built on that, upon that, and there's been a couple. That's why things don't quite match in there. But that was one, is the Pleiadian technology.
But
And
now,
you also had the Hathor technology. You really think people pushed those things up the hill on little rolling trees? They resonated a certain frequency tone with a toning device that lifted it, just like gravity. But you
Mhm.
put the absence of gravity through the frequency band of interpretation that counteracts the field of gravity as tone, which is vibration. So you match the vibration to the neutral of the tone of gravity, and it's light as a feather. And
right.
you push it with one finger.
So now that we are seeing so many pyramids coming, being
Those
just.
are different times. The
Mhm.
ones in Bosnia, the
Mhm.
ones in Russia, the
Mhm.
ones that haven't been revealed but they know about in Antarctica, the
Mhm.
ones that are under the seas, the ones that are in Peru, the ones that are in Mexico, and
Mhm.
yes, what about them?
So are these technologies now? Do we need to learn this technology, and
No,
why are
no.
these everywhere? What was the purpose of that?
Their purpose was discovery. What is the purpose of an automobile? What is the purpose of an ice cream sundae with chocolate fudge?
Mm-hmm.
It's life. It's discovery. It's what we can do. The collective of that built pyramids for certain ideas. Most of your interpretation is for religious beliefs, but it's not for religious. They're for tools.
Mm-hmm.
They're ways to express their society. And there's 1,000 different ideas going on because there's 1,000 different lives that you guys are running across because you're drawing in all the worlds of one that are through the idea of timeness into the oneness of this evolutionary earth. So you're realizing your history more and more because memory matches the moment. You become more gestalt of the isness, and therefore you draw what you would call timelines. That's why things don't quite match, and that's why you guys have your Mandela effect running around as a fantasy.
Mm-hmm. And can we bring the past life experience into the present moment?
You
Why?
can, but it's not past life. It's now life with focus. It's the same thing we told you with the multidimensional self.
and and use that experience by focusing that in the moment and create what we want in our lives.
Do you do not want what you have right now? Any amount of desire is of lack. What do you want that you do not have? You're slanting your reality through interpretation, saying something is better in time.
Well,
The now is all there is. Let yourself explore the now, and you give yourself a journey that can never be matched by want or desire. That's an idea of lack. I'm not enough, so I want better.
right.
Better means this. There is no better. There is only I am. But you may have your betters, you may have your futures and your hopes, because you can.
Mm,
Because why? Because you're an unconditional creative reality doing what you will with it through your own evolution of self-remembrance.
correct. When I say when we want, I guess my what I really meant was when I want to, I shift my vibration or change my vibration to experience a different reality.
Do that now when it's available to you. When
Hmm.
you want it, you means you're not happy now. I
Right.
just said that and you put it in a different way because you want something else. Don't want anything out of the here and the now, because the here and the now is your vibrational match of exploration of your truth. Get to know yourself now, and when it's no longer now, then the unknowable will come. And whatever comes is always more than you've ever been and beyond expectations of what your mind can perceive as better, because you're using the resources of betterment through the past experience to create a future of lack that is truly desirous as a want, but its truth is I am not. What are you missing? What's better than I am right now? Are you not having a good time?
Well, I am, absolutely.
Okay, then be that. Forget about what you want. Be I am. Try it for a while. You're going to find out how beautiful life is without any filters.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
Are you
Thank
good?
you. Yes, thank you.
Bid you a
Thank you
good day.
for coming and sharing this information with us.
He said, you're welcome. Hi.
Wonderful.
Oh,
It was amazing.
oh, it was. It's always good. I love it. I love channeling.
Do
Mm.
you feel exhausted afterwards, or do you feel renewed?
Depends on the. It seems if I channel like an old person from Earth long ago, I channel their oldness because that's my interpretation. So they get heavy. And sometimes when I channel like lighter beings in my mind interpreted like a light being, like an angelic, then it's a little bit more fluid. But it's not draining. It's experiential. It's a quality in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
When I channeled the witch Esmeralda, that's not a witch, but I like to call her a witch. When I channel her and then we're doing our ideas and she's writing down the information, it's like I'm 120 years old. It's heavy. I can feel her wisdom in her age through my bones.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not cagey, but just a little bit elusive, light, but all of a sudden direct.
Right, right.
So
And
yeah.
I just wanted to clarify. So he mentioned Livitheus. Is that a galactic uh,
He mentioned what?
Livitheus? Is that right?
Leviathan.
Leviathan. Okay,
That's just what the collective calls themselves.
okay.
And it seems to be a collective that incarnates in a lot of the aquatics here on the planet.
Okay. Yes, he.
Octopi,
Yes.
through that gestalt. But, I think like, there's indigenous species on this earth, and there's also aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think octopus are aliens. I don't think they're part of that collective. I'm not going to ask right now. I guess I'll let it come to me. But it didn't feel like the octopi. It felt like they were kind of a separate gestalt,
Mm-hmm.
kind of idea.
I think.
But the mermaids
Mm.
and the dolphins and the whales and the narwhals and uh, I don't know,
That's
some other kind
interesting
of things.
because yesterday I was just watching a show which was of ancient civilization. They're talking about Egyptians who had man faces but had the body of a mermaid.
Yeah, yeah. Mers are real.
Mm-hmm.
Mermaids are where humans went to land. This set of humans went to the water.
Mm-hmm.
They found mermaids already. It's already been documented. They hide it. But
Right.
that's not a conspiracy. That's fear. They
Mm-hmm.
can't let the magic out because then they don't have the focus and fear of the human collective to keep the society going. But you can see it's changing. We have people leaving the idea of fossil fuels and through their idea of protests and change in laws, and that's how evolving of it. But there's mermaids,
Mm-hmm.
100% in my knowing.
Right.
Now, if it's a belief, then that implies doubt. But
Yeah.
if you use your intuition to connect with a mermaid and have them tell your story, and the story is beyond your memory, and it blows your mind out of the water, and your memory starts to, or your ego starts, yeah, but there's no proof in this. Shut the diarrhea up and accept the isness and let it embark upon you as wisdom, and then it becomes part of your isness, just like you're not going to deny your own existence right now. Your kids are just as relevant, but since there's no mermaid in proof, there's no mermaid. But you're looking for the outside to validate the inside. When you start validating the isness, the outside becomes easy.
Mm-hmm.
Make
Absolutely.
sense?
Yes, yes, yes. It was wonderful, Roxanne. I really, really enjoyed this today. With the channeling, with everything that you mentioned, it's going to challenge a lot of people who are watching this. But
Yeah, sure.
but I think that
That's awesome.
yeah, and that's the whole point, that we are as the one thing that I observed even with myself is as I was awakening, most of my belief systems were shattering, and I was
Yes. Well,
seeing
because belief systems is a construct.
right.
Isness is an expressed truth. There's
Yeah.
freedom and happiness without cause or effect, and then
Hmm.
there's beliefs. Very good.
Yes. And that was one thing that I've seen, like whatever I believed was now is not. It's just
Right.
gone. It's just gone. And there's a knowing, as you mentioned, which is
Right.
wonderful. And thank you so much for joining me today this
You're
afternoon.
welcome.
And and I hope to have more and more sessions soon, and maybe do a
Yeah.
workshop with you one day.
That would be wonderful.
Thank you so much, Roxanne.
You're welcome, darling.